මානව හිමිකම් ක්ෂේත්‍රය සම්බන්ධව අදහස් දැක්වීමට ශ්‍රී ලංකා සබරගමුව විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ සමාජීය විද්‍යා හා භාෂා පීඨයේ ජ්‍යෙෂ්ඨ කතිකාචාර්ය H.U.S ප්‍රදීප් මහත්මයාට මම ගෞරවයෙන් ආරාධනා කර සිටිනවා.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I hope that you all are doing well over there. First of all, I would like to convey my sincere thanks to the Chiththa Advanced Psychological Studies Open Institute of Sri Lanka for giving me this opportunity to address the first batch of students of the Diploma in Human Rights Education and Practices. So I feel honored to be here today. I also feel that this would be a great opportunity for those who are interested in human rights. Not only human rights, even in the fundamental rights. And there are some people, maybe they are interested with human rights issues in Sri Lanka as well as in global context. I would like to start my speech while asking one question. That is, if you are a consumer, you have certain rights. Suppose that you are a consumer, then definitely you will have some rights as a consumer. If you are sailor, you have certain rights as a sailor. Then my question is that, what about your right as a human being? My question is that whether we have a right as a human being. That's true. We will have certain rights recognized by the different legal documents, different treaty. Throughout the history, starting from Magna Carta to 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights. If you look at the context of human rights, every human being is inherent to these rights, no matter their nationality. When we given human rights for the people, we will not care about nationality of the persons, whether they are born as Americans or whether they are born as Sri Lankan or Pakistan or British. We will not consider when we given rights for the human being. And as well as we will not look at place of the residence. Sex, it means that whether they are female or male, or it might be transgender or whatever. Ethnic origin, color, religion, language, or any other status. Any other status. If you look at the context of human rights, it is very much important for making sure that all humans get treated equally. Because as we know that human rights is universal concept, that we will have human rights without any discriminations. Based on the factions I have discussed earlier on. When we discuss about human rights, actually they are very much essential for good standard of the living in the world. Living in the world. The particularly human rights, we can classify into several categories. One of the main categories that civil and political rights and economic, social and cultural rights. Civil and political rights we also call as first generation rights, classical rights or negative rights. Economic, social and cultural rights we call as second generation rights, as well as we call it as positive rights. Actually, when we talk about civil and political rights, we refer to them as I mentioned in earlier, classical rights or negative rights of the humans. Let's look at why we are saying these rights as a negative rights. Actually, if anyone want to enjoy civil and political rights, there should be a limited government's interventions for those rights. If I say in another words, these rights are responsible for limiting the government authority which may affect any individual independence. The mostly in the sense of civil and political rights, we consider as a right to life, right to security, right to freedom of movements, right to freedom of speech and expressions, right to freedom of public meeting and association, right to freedom of thought and religions, because we will have a right to practice our own religions, as well as if I want to, or if we want to, we can either change it. If we feel that this is not good, we can change our religions. That was the rights recognized under the classifications of civil and political rights. If you look at economic, social, and cultural rights, we refer them as the positive rights of the humans, as well as we call it as a second generation rights. Actually, why we are calling these rights as a second generation rights is that if the people want to enjoy these rights, there should be a certain government interventions. If I say in another words, these rights of the people guide the government to encourage way to plan various ways which will help in improving the life quality of the citizens. All the government of the country are responsible for ensuring the well-being of their citizens. In the category of economic, social, and cultural rights, the mainly we discuss about right to work, but everyone will have a right to free choice of their occupations based on their qualifications, and as well as the people will have rights to reasonable hour of work, right to advocate salary, right to lesser by regulations of the hours of the work, and definitely there should be a right to benefits against unemployment, sickness, accidents, and old age. Uh, uh, Not only that, in this category, people should have rights like right to form or join a trade union, right to property, right to religion, right to language, right to education. That could be considered as one of the main rights we have to ensure of the people, because without education rights, people will not develop their personality. Right to participation in cultural life, right to food, right to health, as well as right to housing. Actually, if we look at the human rights situations of the current world, the human rights are extremely important for the overall development of a country and individual on the personal life. Without given human rights for the people, we will not able to develop our nations. Not only our nations, even the persons will not develop their personality. I can give another one example. Suppose that if the person who do not have or it doesn't ensure that right to occupations, do we think that people will have a very good personality? That is a rare case. If we take a look at basic human rights, we see how they are the right to life, right to practices any religion, right to freedom of speech and expressions, right to basic needs, right to education, the freedom of movement, and so called are most important rights for the any individual persons. And not only that, each rights play a major role in the well-being of any human beings. If I get example as the right to life, it will protect the lives of the human being. It ensures no one can kill you and thus safeguard for your peace of mind. Subsequently, the freedom of thought and religions allow citizens to follow any religion they wish. If I wish, I can follow Buddhism. If I want to, I can follow Christianity or whatever religions that has recognized by the different international legal documents, including 1948 Universal Declarations of Human Rights, 1966 International Convention on Civil and Political Rights. Those have the recognized the people right to religions. If I give the another example, even you can see the International Convention on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. Those has the recognized the right to life as well as right to religion of the peoples. So the people have all the right to select their own religion and worship it. The concept of human rights allow people to speak often when they experience abuse and corruptions. If I get the example of the present situation of Sri Lanka, we are living in one of the most corrupted country in the world. The day by day, the corruptions are increasing in Sri Lanka. Increasing in Sri Lanka. Actually, as a citizen of the country, we have to play important role to reduce the corruptions level of Sri Lanka. For that, we can use right to assemble. That would be a crucial because if we use right to assembly in right way, we can crack against the government, we can agitate against the government, and we will able to reduce some extent of the corruption level of the country. The concept of human rights empower people and tell them that they are entitled to dignity from the society. Everyone, those who are living in the society, everyone will have a dignity. Everyone want to get the dignity-full life. As a teacher, I want to have a dignity-full life. As a student, you want to have a dignity-full life. That is the one of the basic rights of the people, or rights are given by the nature, according to the natural school of human rights. Whether it is the government or their work environments, we have to reissue it, and if our rights are violated, we have all the rights to stand up against that. And as well as human rights ensure the basic need of the people. Everyone needs access to medicines, food, water, cloth, and shelter. As a human being, everyone like to have a medicine or health rights. Everyone want to get the foods. Food means that if we can get nutrition food, that would be a point. And as well as we want to get the water. Everyone like to wear in a smart cloth, and everyone want to get at least a small house. That is the rights recognized by the international human rights law. By including these in the person's basic human rights, everyone has a baseline level of dignity. Unfortunately, what happened in the today, there are still millions of the people out there who don't have these necessities. If you get the example as Sri Lanka, there are so many people, even today, they facing difficulties to get the foods. There are so many people are dying throughout the world without having enough foods. And not only foods, even if you get the water, that become huge issues in the global arena. Therefore, therefore, the, therefore, we have to ensure the basic need of the people that would be recognized as one of the main rights of the people. The human rights give people access to education. Education is important for so many reasons, and it's crucial for society where poverty is common. Suppose that if there is any society, the poverty become the main issues, it would be difficult to give education for all the people in the society. At least we were not able to give a primary educations. Therefore, we have to work for the enhance and increase the education rights of the people. Education rights of the people. I know that after completing this diploma, definitely you will go to the field. You will go to the field with the lot of knowledge regarding human rights. Then you can be a real ambassador to address the issues related with the human rights or issues we are facing related with the human rights in current society. The further freedom of movement is helpful in people mobilization. It ensures no one is limited from the traveling and resident in any state of their choice. It allows you to cultivate opportunity where you wish to. If you want to, you can go around the country. If you want to, you can travel to other country and return back to our own country. Actually, that has recognized as a human right, as well as it has recognized by the main fundamental rights of the Sri Lankan constitutions. Human rights also give you that right to equal before the law. Every human being has the right to move to the court where there will be an impartial decision making. According to equality before the law, the ruler as well as the ruler will be equal in front of the legal system of the country. But if you get the example as a Sri Lankan society, we know that is a very good concept, equality before the law, but it becomes very difficult to implement in our society. In our legal system, it has treated differently for the ruler as well as being rulers. I mean that legal system will not treat equal manner what they are, how they treat for the ruler of the country. They are getting some advantages, but actually what we have to do that in the sense of human rights, we have to establish equality before the law. Everyone should be recognized as equal before the legal system of the country. Apart from that, if you look at the current situations of Sri Lanka, even though we have a fundamental rights chapter which has included in third chapter of the Sri Lankan constitutions, particularly if you read out Article 10 to 7, it has given a lot of fundamental rights for the people. And then not only that, even if you read out Article 17 and Article 126, it has said that if your fundamental rights violated, which has recognized by 1978 constitutions, you can challenge at the Supreme Court, you can challenge at the Human Rights Commissions, and as well as ombudsmans. But if you look at this scenario, that would be very fine, because we have a fundamental rights chapter, as well as we have a fundamental rights protection mechanisms. But when it's come to the practice, it become a really difficult task for in Sri Lanka to protect the fundamental rights recognized by the constitution. So one of the main drawback is that the people, lack of people awareness. Therefore, we have to conduct the awareness programs. It might be introducing certificate course, it might be introducing diploma. We can enhance the level of the knowledge of people regarding human rights as well as fundamental rights of the country. But as a university lecturer, I believe that after this course, definitely you will get that knowledge, and you will able to fill the gap in or legal gap in Sri Lanka. And then if you look at in short, human rights are very essential for the happy living of human beings. However, these days they are violated endlessly, and we need to come together to tackle these issues. The government, education institutes, and citizens must take effort to protect each other and progress for the better life. In this regard, I would like to thank you for initiating such a timely important diploma by Chiththa, Advanced Psychological Study, Open Institute of Sri Lanka. So I hope that after completing this diploma, you will be a real ambassador to protect the human rights of the mankind. Actually, these are the things I want to share with you today. That definitely I will give more knowledge when we conduct the sessions later on. Particularly, we will discuss about historical development of human rights. If they, they allow me to, we will, conduct, the other area of human rights. So in those lessons, we will, give more details regarding the human rights issues in Sri Lanka as well as the current world. Actually, this is all about my speech, and I wish you all the best for your future study with the Chiththa Advanced Psychological Study Open Institute of Sri Lanka. Thank you.